Hi, I'm Adalina East, founder of Transformational Healing and multidimensional mentor. Today we are going to talk about getting over the guilt, how to stop feeling guilty and to start living. So generally what I've found over more than a decade of working with people is that guilt is your conscious mind trying to pick at something from your inner child wounding. And of course, we always want to get to the root of whatever this guilt feeling is so that we can heal it and move on. So there are a lot of little things that people feel guilty for, like giving in to food cravings, not calling family and friends, hitting the snooze button, leaving a pet at home, pretending that you're working when you're actually watching a video on TV, like maybe right now. And people also feel really guilty about getting a house cleaner. Somehow that came up as number one for most people in this study. Common examples of guilt from clients that I've worked with mostly is mother guilt, not giving enough time and attention to your kids, working outside the home, and even things like not helping your parents enough in their older age. With kids, I've seen guilt really focused on not giving enough time to their studies, not giving enough time to their pets. And with parents, of course, it's usually about not having enough time to do everything, not having enough time to work all of the hours that they're supposed to work, or take care of their kids in the way the person down the street does so, whatever the case may be. But so one of the main things that I found in recovering from guilt is first acknowledging that it's there. When working with couples, the most common forms of spouse guilt are not having enough time for the other person, not wanting sex often enough, or wanting sex too often, and feeling unhealthy about the way that you're relating. Of course, we all have other forms of guilt, some real, some imagined, some inner childhood wounds. But what our latest studies tell us is that when we give in to that guilt, when we're just stuck in it and feeling it all the time, it can cause anxiety, depression, loss of sleep, and social withdrawal. In a journal article in Sex Roles Journal done by Borelli, Nelson, and others, work and family guilt is actually more than twice as likely to be found in women than in men. And it's been linked to other challenging things in mental health beyond anxiety and depression, like OCD and PTSD, according to Doctors Nevin and Joseph in Psychology Today. So we know we want to get over the guilt, right? We know we want to move forward. We know we don't want to stay stuck in these emotions. And so I'm going to share with you some of my top tips that I use with my in-person and online clients to get over the guilt. The first one is to acknowledge that something may have happened that is worthy of this guilt. And this is the hard part, right? Because it's much easier for us to just bluster on and move forward as though nothing happened. And maybe nothing did happen. But we may not be able to get there without first doing the inner work to figure that out. So for this, I always recommend that people journal, they spend time outside, maybe talk to friends and family who don't have a guilt association with you, and see if this is real. See if this is something that everyone struggles with, or if it's something that truly came up from your past. Once you get to that level, you can accept and admit that you're an imperfect person. Not everyone is able to do this, and it does take some work. But through accepting that you're imperfect and accepting that you're able to move on, you actually are freeing yourself up to do so. So if you're a person suffering from guilt right now, I'm going to ask you to do this quick process with me. So place both of your hands over your heart. And whether this was real guilt or imagined guilt or something that you actually don't need to feel guilty for at all, this will still help. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then repeat after me. Source, I acknowledge that this may be a situation that has caused guilt. But I'm so ready to let go of this now. And then watch this guilt feeling swirling up towards the sky Maybe give it a color. Mine is usually gray. And watch it move all the way up. And take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. And relax your hands. And then my third tip to get over the guilt is to ask your guides for help. Ask for their wisdom. Ask for them to come to you and connect with you and show you what you can do in order to get over the guilt. This may look like a ritual outside. This may look like writing a letter to someone and then burning it. I like to write a letter to someone and then bury it, so it still exists, but it's being nurtured by Mother Earth to dissolve and to release that feeling. Always use biodegradable paper when possible. And if you want more help in finding your guides, reaching your guides, being able to name your guides and have a direct connection with them, you can always check out my course, The Practical Channel, and we'll drop the link below here. If you enjoyed this video, please tell your friends about it and hit the subscribe button below. See you next week.